first video of Unit 6. And the learning target for this section is I can identify which quadrant a point is located in by reading the signs of a given pair. I can also locate a point that has been reflected across one or both axes. The essential question, what do you notice when two points have the same y value but they have opposite x values? We have 3 math practice standards. They are 1, 3, and 5. And we have lots of key terms. Our first term is the coordinate plane. And that's a plane formed by the intersection of the x and the y axis. The ordered pair, and that is a pair of numbers used to find a point on a coordinate plane. Next we have origin, and that is the point where the x-axis and the y-axis cross. We have quadrants, and those are 4 regions created when the x and y cross. Those regions are labeled 1 through 4, starting with the top right and continuing counterclockwise. Reflection is the next term, and that is the transformation of a figure that flips across a line. The x-axis, that is our horizontal number line on a coordinate plane. Our x-coordinate is the first number in an ordered pair, and that's going to tell us how far that we need to move left or right, and we're always moving from 0, which is the center of the coordinate plane. The y-axis is a vertical line on a coordinate plane, and the y-coordinate is our second number in an ordered pair, and it tells us how far we need to go up or down. And usually we're moving up or down either from 0 or we are moving from one spot on the x-axis. All right, now we're going to talk about how we actually go about locating a point. And there are 3 things that you have to do. The first thing you want to do is you want to go across the x-axis until you find the line where the point is located. And then you write that number down from the x-axis. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to move up or down the y-axis until you find the line where the point is located. And then you're going to write that number from the y-axis. You have found the ordered pair at this point. Excuse my smudged board here. And a key thing to remember is you must find the x value first. That's the one you want to write down. So if we could zoom in on this grid that I have here, we're going to talk about how to identify this particular point on this graph. The first thing we have to do is we have to go along the x-axis until we find that point. And one thing you might want to try when you're doing this, if you're having a difficult time, maybe create a little dotted line out to both sides. And then you can go across your x and find that that is -4. And then you can go down the y-axis and realize that this is at -3. So our point that we just located was at the point -4, -3, and it happens to be in quadrant 3. All right, we're going to go to the next thing that you will have to do with a graph is plot one of these points. And there are a couple of steps you have to follow, and we're always using an ordered pair. And we're going to use the first number, which is our x, and we're going to move left or right along the x-axis to that particular point. And then we will look at the second number, which is our y-coordinate, and we will move up or down the y-axis from the original x point. Remember, x comes first. It's alphabetical, and it comes first when we are graphing. Again, we're going to zoom in on this blank grid that I have here, and we are going to actually plot the point -4, 3. So we're going to start at 0, and we are going to look at the first number in our ordered pair, which was -4. The negatives are on the left side of this graph, so we are going to move over to 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. Then we're going to look at the second point, which is 3. It's a +3. The positive numbers are above the 0 on the y-axis. The negatives are below. So from our -4, we're going to go up 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And we are going to put a dot here. And that is going to be labeled -4, 3. Now, one thing you can do if you're really struggling with being able to move over and move up, you can go back to using our our system that we used before. And you can go along the x-axis to your first number, go along the y-axis to your second number, and figure out where those 2 points meet. And that's where you would put your dot.